Hi, welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you guys for joining us again today. How are you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing well, Mom. How about yourself?
I am doing fine. Are you ready to talk about another exciting week of Port Charles?
I sure am. Are you?
I sure am. All right, we're going to do the top 10 list again. And so we'll get started. First of all, Michael. As we learned last week, Michael has been severely burned from a fire that occurred in Sonny's apartment. And so we begin with Michael almost coding from Digitalis. Isaiah kind of, when he goes to treat Michael, figures it out and he actually treats Michael accordingly. He kind of gives them sort of an antidote, per se, to kind of help Michael, and it does work. Liz finds out another Digitalis incident has occurred. And so, of course, that makes her she starts thinking. Lucky begins to investigate this. Willow asserts her authority as Michael's medical advisor. Carly and Sunny are not happy at all because she decides not to allow Carly and Sunny to see Michael unless she gets her kids back. And so later on that week, Willow does change her mind and decides to let Carly and Sunny make some decisions in regards to Michael. In the meantime, between all of this, the kids are actually at the Quartermains, and Tracy's kind of quote unquote holding them hostage, but the kids are actually with Monica, and Tracy thinks this is the best thing for the kids. And so when anyone comes over to actually take the kids back to Willow, she is not allowing it. On another note, completely different, Cody actually decides to bet on a football game with Selena Wu. Um, this is a game that Kai is playing in. Kai actually gets hurt during the game, and then Cody loses the bet that he's made. So, of course, this means he's in debt with Selena Wu. And so he does provide most of the money to Brad, because Brad is the go between Selena Wu and Cody. And then Trina becomes upset because Kai is hurt during the game. And then Jocelyn becomes suspicious of Cyrus. On the other side, Drew decides that he wants to raise Scout himself. And so in his process, he also attempts to keep control of Willow, and he does not want Willow to allow Sunny or Carly to see Michael. As I mentioned before, Willow kind of has a change of mind a little later. And then, as I mentioned, also Tracy kind of keeps hold of Willow's kids because she didn't want anyone in the family to get them. And then Jason, in the midst of this, decides that he wants to side with the Quartermain family, and so he's not really stopping anything from hurting Mike, from hurting. He's not stopping anything from hurting Monica, and so Tracy is happy because Jason has for one of the first times decided to side with the Quartermain family on something. And then, last but not least, Lulu decides to get a job. I guess after 4 years, she decides that it's time that she does something. So, anyway, she applies to work for a job at Deception, and she's hoping to work for Maxie, but finds out later that she would end up working for Brooklyn if she does decide to accept or even interview for this position. And Brandon, this is what I have for the top 10 things that happened this week. Do you want to add anything?
I think for the most part, yeah, that covered that. There were a few side things, but I don't think they were really important to emphasize this week.
Alrighty. All right, so let's get down to the good stuff. Let's talk about our performance of the week. And so for best performance of the week, this week I picked two, and you're going to be shocked, Brandon. I actually picked Willow as one. I picked Willow because at this point in time, we still don't like her, but she must be acting pretty well to kind of have this general, I don't want to say hatred, but this general persona that people really don't like her right now. And so I do like that she came stronger toward the end of the week. Um, and she's starting to kind of find her voice, my thoughts anyway. So that's one of the reasons why I picked Willow as one of her performers of the week. Another one I picked was Nina because I liked the way Nina was acting this week. I liked that she was trying to help Michael. I liked that she was reaching out to other people. She was trying to, she was trying to do everything she could to kind of help Sonny and Carly in regards to Michael. And so I like that about Nina this week. So she became our performer of the week also. Brandon, who are your performers of the week?
So first of all, I fully agree with what you were saying. I definitely believe that for Willow's case, that she uh, has just, yeah, even though that there was, of course, as you mentioned, almost like a universal hatred towards the character, not the actress. But in the same regard, I like that this week you could really see her complexities of her. But the person that I originally chose, though, is actually Nina, going with your second one. Just because I feel like she has really reached across the board. And something that I had noticed over the past few months that sort of accumulated with this whole disaster with Drew and Willow was that Nita, for the most part, has worked to sort of redeem herself, not in the sense that she feels like she needs redemption, but rather that she seems like a changed person, so to speak. And so, obviously, we've seen her sort of come to Willow's defense and everything these past few weeks, but I think this week you could really see that she's really still trying to make amends, and she wants to do what's best for Willow, even if it means sort of biting her tongue and working with her enemies, so to speak.
Yes, very true, very true. All right, and as for my amusing scenes of the week, they all stem around Tracy, because anyone who spoke to Tracy this week, I was really kind of amused by. So for me, Tracy kind of was the character who I liked this week in the sense of having a sense of humor. I mean, although she wants everything right for Monica, at the same time, when she addressed it, she kind of did it with humor. Brandon, what about you? Who do you think gave the amusing scenes or the amusing person of the week?
Yeah, I would easily say it is Tracy as well, and I like the sort of complexities with it, but she will not stand down for anything, and so I really like that. About her throughout the week. I mean, there's been some other people who've given like hard performances, but I'd say Tracy is the scene stealer for the amusing week. But I will give a honorable mention to the interactions between Ava, Rick, and Sidwell.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Sidwell, who I left out at the for the beginning, but yes, they did have a nice little amusing bantering scene there. Just to go back for the audience, Sidwell is, as I mentioned last week, has returned, and he actually went to go see Ava, not just per se to see Ava, but he went to her shop and he wanted to order a painting for his house. And Rick just happened to be there, and he was able to get some of his money back that Ava owed because Sidwell did buy. Um, but yes, anything else you'd like to add to the amusing scene portion, Brandon?
I think for the most part that is the gist of it to the best of my recollection.
Alrighty. As for heartwarming scenes, I thought there were a few this week. First of all, anyone talking about Michael's pain, I thought they did a great job performing in that particular scene. And kudos to Carly and kudos to Sonny, the actors who played them, and Jason, because I think they did a really nice job actually making those scenes and showing their love for Michael. Then, other than that, we had Jason and Tracy gave a nice little scene together. It wasn't long, but it was nice to see Jason and Tracy bonding again. And then Tracy and Stella actually had a nice little scene earlier that week. And so I really like to see that also. So those are my heartwarming scenes of the week. And like I said, I was surprised, but there were quite a few this week. All right, Brandon, what about your thoughts?
Yeah, there were quite a bit of heartwarming scenes, as you mentioned, and some of the ones I were going to mention were like Tracy and Stella, and then Tracy and practically everybody else that she's interacted with, and a lot of it, of course, has to do um, with Michael, some to do with Monica, and so overall, I think there's quite a bit of heartwarming scenes all around. And even though, of course, heartwarming scenes have been the trend as a few months, this is probably one of the first times. This week's probably one of the first times in several months that has nothing to do with Alexis and Christina.
Very, very true. And then as for my fast forward moments, Drew, I sorry, I had to fast forward him, and then also Kai and Trina. Both of them kind of bored me this week also. So that's what I have. I'm kind of curious about the angle they want to take with Kai. And to see, hopefully they've got something deeper planned for him. But anyway, those were my fast forward moments. Brandon, how about you?
Yeah, I would say that out of everything, I think I would fast forward Drew more so for the sense of not for his acting, but more so in the sense of that the way that they're showing him as if he is right, and especially like in regards to specifically the interaction between Drew and Martin. I believe on Friday's episode where Martin was giving us unsolicited advice, and it's just like you're doing the right thing with this, which a part of me says Martin had a little bit more to that story, but that's all that we managed to hear about it. So yeah, but specifically that. Um, but yeah, I feel like there were a lot of loose ends for that overall, though.
All right. And then welcome back, Selena Wu. Do we have any other welcomes back, Brandon?
What's funny about that is I was just mentioning a few days before she came back. That's like whatever happened to Selena Wu.
Yes, we were. We were talking offline, and we did talk about Selena Wu, and she just kind of popped back into the storyline, and so it was very nice to see her.
Yeah, and we saw her interestingly enough interacting with Geo.
Yes, yes, which is interesting. So we'll have to see where that kind of leads. Let's see. One other thing I did want to mention, I want to give a runner up to one of our younger performers because we had Wiley, who actually has some lines this week, and I thought he did a really nice job. And Willow had did a nice job speaking to Wiley in regards to Michael, and so I just wanted to give him a pat on the back because I think he did a good job.
Likewise.
Alrighty. We missed because we were interrupted all week with all sorts of different things. We did miss the interaction between Emma and Felicia and whatever it is that Emma was doing. I did not go back and watch it later on a streaming service, but I think that was one I really kind of I wanted to see, but I did miss that. All right. As for next week, I am looking forward to actually seeing what's going on with Drew to see if there how his interactions actually end up for the following week. Then, of course, Michael, because I'm sure his last days are coming near. And so I'd like to see where they end up placing Michael. I know they've got two different places they're talking about right now, but I just like to see how they end up handling that. And then with the children, what will happen to the children? I mean, we've kind of alluded a little bit that not we, but the soap opera has, General Hospital has alluded that Lucas is showing some interest in Wiley. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the sort of way that they go a little bit, or will Willow just come and get the children at some point in time, or be allowed to have the children at some point in time. All right, Brandon, what about you for next week?
Yeah, so first of all, to touch on a little bit what you were saying, yeah, we were interrupted quite a bit throughout the week. At least I feel like in the middle of certain things, and so like the interaction that you're mentioning between, yeah, like Emma and Felicia, who knows what that was about. But something that I thought that the show didn't go into a little bit further, that I was thinking it might have done, was it showed Alexis and Curtis chatting about what's going to happen to Scout, but I feel like I feel like there could have been a little bit more with that. Um, so I'm not sure where it's going with that. I'm curious in Cody's future because since we're focusing a bit more on him now, so I'm not sure what's up with that in that regard. And one of the other loose ends, though, is that we saw Tracy Quartermain, of course, getting arrested because of Drew, and her saying that the children are not here. Now, is she just deflecting to not tell them that the children are upstairs, or are the children actually not here this whole time?
Yeah,
So, and who has them?
yep, that is interesting, Brandon, because they mentioned that on Friday. I think it was Friday's evening's episode when the police came to arrest Tracy, that the children were not there, but yet no one went upstairs to go and see if the children were or were not there, or at least at this point in time, no one has done that. So yes, so that'll be interesting to see what Tracy has really done with the children, and will Tracy be in jail?
Yeah, and I'm curious as to what they're doing with the Monica storyline.
Yeah, which is I don't, timing wise, I know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Monica storyline and how they plan to proceed with that. All right, Brandon, anything else you'd like to add?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I feel like we are setting up 2025 strong thus far, and I'm curious as to see what's going to happen throughout the rest of this January.
Yep, I am curious too. And so we thank everybody for joining us today. We had a shorter episode, but we thank you for joining us. And we look forward to speaking with you next week. Brandon, thank you for helping out.
Yep.
And everybody, and have a great day, everybody.
And we'll see you next time.
All right, bye bye.